Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to a video that's probably going to make us a little bit hungry. It's called 3 Weird European Habits That Lost Me 20 Pounds. So, I don't know if it's going to get us hungry. Probably yes, because it's having to do with probably food. I don't know. But let's check it out and subscribe, comment, and like.
Europeans eat bread, drink wine, and don't obsess over the gym. Yet half of Europe is thinner than the fittest US state. The even more surprising part? Most of these countries aren't even following the famous Mediterranean diet, which the US media promotes endlessly as the ultimate healthy diet. Neither do Europeans hit the gym more often than Americans. Clearly, something bigger than diet or exercise is going on. Or rather, something weirder. These habits get accidentally adopted by Americans who move to Europe, causing them to lose weight without even realizing how.
I drank copious amounts of wine and beer, and without really keeping track of my weight, one day I decided to take a photo and see how it compared with my US days, and the results were shocking.
These habits don't just cause weight loss, they've caused what appears to be reverse aging in Americans after they move to Europe. Watch out, Brian Johnson. I lost weight while living in the US. My full-time job is coaching others to lose weight, and I've lived in Europe for the past 2 years. And I can tell you, there's one root habit shaping this reality. The eating and walking habits people fixate on, they're just symptoms. This is why even if the Mediterranean diet or Norwegian diet or whatever is mass adopted in the US, it won't make a difference because you can't fix something by mimicking the symptoms. You need to start at the root. And you guessed it, the root lies in the quirks Americans notice in Europe. Put on your detective hat. Can you spot the common thread in these quirky US versus Europe stories? When I first got to Portugal, I'd walk around with a drink in hand, sometimes even having my lunch on the go. I felt so productive, knocking out 2 tasks at the same time. But I noticed people kept giving me weird looks. Turns out nobody in Europe walks and eats. Meals last 1.5 to 3 hours, even during work days. Not because they're eating more, but because they're pacing themselves for conversation. Same thing with drinks. In Seattle, nights out meant slamming drinks. Europe, people nurse their drinks for hours. The goal isn't to drink, it's to talk. And it's not just food and drinks. This slow, steady mindset applies to everything, including work. We've all heard Europeans get 6 weeks of vacation. True, but it's more than just about vacations. It's a daily thing. Whenever I meet new people in Europe, nobody ever asks me, what do you do? In the US, that's the first thing people want to know because everyone in the US feels like they're in a high-stakes Shondaland TV drama, guzzling coffee and burning both ends of the candle.
It's not that serious.
Europe, work is just one part of life, like going to a
your
cafe.
life.
There's no urgency, no drama. While life in the US is go big or go home, a life of extremes. That's why the US is increasingly split into 2 classes of people. Those who are overweight and those who are highly trained. The middle class, people who are moderately fit and eat well without obsessing, is disappearing. So the root change we must start with isn't food or exercise. It's shifting our mindset from dramatic, high-stakes sprints to steady, consistent marches. Meaning you commit to no longer pendulum swinging between being on a diet or completely off the rails. Meal prepping with military precision or binging on takeout when life gets busy and doing hardcore workouts as punishment for the binge. Instead, you do what Europeans do. They don't diet. They don't start and stop. They just exist in a steady rhythm. And that's the shift that changed everything for me. What this means is following one simple rule. I can only change 1 to 3 habits max at a time. The change must be a one-step shift from my current habits. And I do not change or add habits until my fat loss has been stuck for 1 month straight. This is the weight loss equivalent of steady, consistent marches. No overdoing, no underdoing. So what are these 1 to 3 habit changes? Nutrition is 80% of weight loss, and it is the biggest difference in how Europeans approach health compared to Americans. Like, I have many friends here in Europe who have lost weight. And when I ask them what they did, none bring up keto, intermittent fasting, or any diet. This was surprising to me because in the US, the first thing anyone losing weight credits is some sort of diet. So what did my European friends eat to lose weight? Starting at the root for nutrition, the why or mindset, is if you love food, eat like you love food. Europeans eat real butter, full-fat cheese, and croissants without guilt. They don't eat with a restrictive mentality where even as you're digging into that croissant, every bite is taken with guilt. Because guess what happens when you eat with guilt? You don't enjoy it. You're never satisfied, so you keep eating more and more, chasing satisfaction, which ironically becomes harder and harder to achieve because the more you eat, the worse you're feeling.
I think that she makes a very interesting point, because I think a lot of people do have, if you have like that restrictive mindset of like, oh, I can't really, like, I'm eating bread, for instance, you're not just in a restrictive diet, or you're thinking like, I can't do carbs, and then the minute like something tells you in your brain you can't do this, or oh, it's bad, I'm gonna have this piece of chocolate, but like I'm not gonna enjoy it because it's like paced with guilt of like, oh, I'm gonna have to work out for like 3 hours to burn this. Then it's like when it goes off the rails, because it's like it's restrictive, and then you're gonna crave it more. But if you're just like, I can enjoy this croissant, I can enjoy this chocolate, I can enjoy this bread or this butter without any guilt associated with it, like it's okay. Like it doesn't need to, I don't need to like, work out for 4 hours to burn this. It's just like, it's fine, it's okay. And I think that makes all the difference.
You're not actually loving food. Compare that to if you eat that croissant without guilt. You're actually going to feel satisfied. So does this mean you eat whatever you want? Yes and no. From
from moderation.
Because if you love food, eat real food that nourishes your body. On average, 14% of Europeans' diet comes from ultra-processed foods, compared to 60% in the US. But how do we apply the one-step shift rule to this? As 60% to 14% is a huge change.
Absolutely.
Most junk and sweets we eat tend to be out of cravings, not hunger. So if we reduce the number of times we give into cravings, the amount of junk we eat will also go down. We do this using a point and call system, where before you eat or drink each serving, say in your head, I'm about to eat food out of hunger or cravings. Then if you ate it, record that by upping the count for cravings eating or hunger eating in your notes app. Set a goal to reduce the count of cravings eating by 1 per day for next 7 days. If you lose fat at your 7-day check-in, stick to the same count the next week. If you didn't lose fat, then set the goal to 1 less craving eating for next 7 days and repeat this process weekly. But what if you have tons of cravings each day? Which, sure, you can resist at the start, but you know the novelty will wear off till you give more and more into your cravings. This is where the when part comes in from the Europeans. By and large, they don't snack. They tend to eat at set meal times and do mini intermittent fasting of 3 to 4 hours in between meal times. This in turn reduces the chances of giving into cravings, because you're no longer making a decision every time an urge to eat strikes you. Remember, willpower drains as the day goes on. So the fewer times you have to make a decision, the better. But then what if at the meal times you binge so hard that you might as well have eaten junk throughout the day? That's where the last how part of European eating comes in. At your meals, prioritize having 1 palm-sized lean protein, 1 fistful of vegetables, and 1 cup of water first. After that, you can eat whatever you want without guilt. In fact, remember that you must eat without guilt. And set a timer to make this meal last at least 20 minutes without screens. Baby steps toward the 1 to 2 hour meals of the Europeans. But nutrition is not the only thing that helps thin Europeans. We all know that moving our bodies can motivate us to eat better. But we also know that hardcore exercising can derail weight loss by making you hungrier, which then causes you to eat too much or the wrong thing. Thin Europeans have found the sweet spot between exercising and hunger. This again starts with the root, the why or mindset behind movement for thin Europeans. Here's a good story to show the difference. I used to row crew in Seattle, and so when I saw an 8 in the Tasia River, it caught my attention. But what really stood out to me was it was a mixed boat with men and women. In the US, it's always all men or all women boats. I commented on this to my friend, who said, that's because it's actually recreational here. I felt my understanding shift on its axis. In the US, even when things are tagged as recreational, they actually aren't. The crew boats in the US were never mixed because it was still a competition. And this mindset bleeds into everything. Hobbies have to be monetized. Workouts have to be optimized.
Everything has to be productive.
It's okay to be bad at a hobby. You don't have to constantly level up. You just do it because it's fun or part of your day. And that's why Europeans move more than Americans without even realizing it. But how do you shift from a clinical approach to exercise to a fun one? There are 2 things you do. The first is to integrate movement into your daily life in 3 ways. Instead of parking close to your building entrance, park far away and walk. Instead of taking the elevator, take the stairs. Drive to a park close to you and go for a walk as many times a week as you can fit. And the second thing to do is to experiment with trying out sports you think you'd enjoy and do them with the mindset of not getting better at them, but just
doing it because you like them.
Optimize for fun, not performance, and keep trying until you find a
I think that makes it for a good point as well. Is like the best workout, it's not the one that like helps you like lose more weight. It's the workout that you actually enjoy, because that's the one you're gonna stick to. So good advice.
Sport you like. But breaking out of a restrictive mentality is just one shift. There are 4 more that you absolutely need to know about, which thin people practice without even knowing it. It's their hidden in plain sight secret. I break down what they are and the step-by-step process for you to practice them in this video here. Or if you want my help shortcutting through all the trial and error to cementing the root changes so you get to your goal weight quickly and forever, then learn more about my weight loss program in the description and comments below. And always remember, you can do it.
This was, like, she makes some very interesting points. I don't know if I agree with all of them, I have to say. I think especially, like, the one about, like, waiting yourself, like, every week. Like, I think that's a little bit counteractive. Like, especially, I don't know if also, like, I don't know if I'm thinking, like, maybe Europeans don't really actually, like, weight themselves that much. Like, that obsession with weight maybe doesn't exist. Or it is a thing. Obviously, I'm generalizing, but I don't think it's that much of a big deal, I think. But maybe I can be totally wrong because, again, it just depends on the person. But I think that's not, like, that great of an advice, at least to me, because I think, like, you can just, because if you're, like, I get, like, you would want to, like, no, I have to weigh myself because I'm trying to lose some weight. But it's, like, I think there are some things that are very, you know, your weight loss is best measured by other, like, certain, like, goal points or standards and not necessarily weighting yourself. I think that could be like a slippery slope that you can maybe get disappointed, like, because I think weight itself, it's just like you sometimes retain water, like hormones, like there's like so many things to do that actually do affect your weight, that I think it's a better measure just to be like how your clothes fit, or I don't know, like take your actual like measurements to like in actual measurements. I think if you're in a weight loss journey, I think those are like better things instead of just like weighing yourself, because again, it's just like that's pointless and it can leave you like very like, no, I didn't lose weight this week. It's like, who cares? Maybe if you're working out, you're gaining muscle, so you're gonna like your weight's gonna go up, but you know your clothes are gonna fit better and your body composition is gonna improve. So who cares if you're just like your weight's gonna go up? So I don't really agree that much with that. And I do think, but I like some things that she said, like especially with like that mindset of like food doesn't really hold moral value. I think a lot of like, and I think that's like a very American culture kind of situation where there's like, they'll try to constantly like sell you some sort of diet or make you feel guilty about like eating. Like if you're not eating properly, you're not eating right, like you're gonna have to feel guilty about it. And there's like guilt associated with, again, eating carbs, eating sweets, eating things that are not perceived as like good. And I think you have to like switch that mentality of just like food doesn't really hold any moral value. It's just food. So that thing of like, oh no, I'm eating the wrong things and I'm eating right things. It's like, it's just food. Like everything is food. So you have to like get out of that space. But I think it's a very American thing actually, and a lot of like the media and historically, I think again they try to sell you that because they're constantly like trying to sell you a diet. They're constantly trying to sell you something. So it is like you really do have to like change that mindset of just like you're just eating, like it's food, and you're not actually like dieting as in like I'm on a diet. It's just like diet as in like what I eat every day. I think it's obviously like very different from, you know, an actual like, oh, I'm eating keto, like, or I'm eating the Mediterranean diet or whatever it is, like what new thing that they're trying to like sell you as in like, it's gonna, you know, this is gonna be like the miracle drug, this is gonna be the magical solution. It's like, and that's why I say like Europeans, usually they don't really do that. They don't really have like fat diets. They just eat normally. And I think that's probably like the hardest thing to do. Like you have to make like the switch in your brain of just like switch your mindset and start eating when you're hungry. Also, I think that she said of like, oh, eat like I think it was like eat every 4 hours, like don't really snack throughout the day. I think again that depends. Some people are different, and I think it's a little bit of trial and error and see what works for you. Because I think again, she said like, oh, Europeans do this. I think not all Europeans do that. Actually, like I think it depends, just as not all Americans are like constantly snacking throughout the day. I think you have to figure out what works for you. If eating like 3 meals a day, like she said, like works for you, and because you're not constantly snacking, well, that's good, more power to you. But for some people, it's just like that doesn't work. Maybe because I don't know, I get hungry, I need more calories, I don't know. Like some people just need to like snack throughout the day. Doesn't mean that you're gonna be, or maybe they just have like very small portions of food and maybe they eat like 7 times a day. And that works for them because they're like, yes, I'm losing weight and I'm feeling good. So I think it really does depend, and it's a bit of like a trial and error situation where you just have to try different things and see what actually works for you. And if it's not working for you, like don't be afraid of like switching it up. Like it's okay, but do not fall into that whole like again mentality of like, this is wrong, this is a bad food, this is a good food, and I have to like do this and I have to like restrict myself and I'm eating because I'm eating a lot of the wrong things. It's like, no, it's fine. Some days you're gonna have good days. Maybe some days that you're just like, oh, I'm craving sweets. It's like, well, okay, go out and do that, but that doesn't mean like your whole process is gonna be derailed or like oh, I'm gonna throw it down the drain. It's like, no, not necessarily. It just means get back to it. Like, okay, well, today was maybe not such a not a healthy day for me, but okay, it's fine. Tomorrow it's a new day, whatever, and get back to it. I think that's really important as well, of not like beating yourself up for, making like the wrong choices when it comes to food. But again, it's like, I think a lot of it's a mental thing of like having to switch your mindset and having to like adopt new things and actually like switch a lot of like of your mentality or the previous things that you've been taught. And again, by your culture, media, whatever it is. But I do agree with like a lot of things, not all of them, but I think in general it's good advice. And obviously the one about like moving, yes, of course, like I think in the United States, people tend to lead like very sedentary lives. Sadly, that's just like, and even like the Americans are taking the blunt of it, the blunt of this. But it's like not necessarily, I think maybe yes, Europeans like tend to walk more just because of like how their cities are designed and because a lot of people like don't really own cars, which again, because of the way their cities and their countries are designed, it would be an impossible thing to do in a lot of places in the US because you absolutely need a car because the public transport sucks and you can't really walk like in the middle of the highway. So you have to have a car, and obviously because there's a lot of like that mindset and that lifestyle of like, oh, work is everything and I have to be like stuck at work and I have to be the best and all of that is going to make you maybe a little bit more sedentary because your whole life is your work and you spend your whole day working at a 9-to-5 office job. So when you get home after like traffic and a lot of those things, like, you're stressed because of like the work that you've done, and also because again, you have like rush hour, maybe you get home at like 8 p.m. and you're just like, oh, I don't really want to like, I don't want to move my body. I don't just want to like crash out and go to bed, which, it's completely fair. And it's completely like either you have to like really stay with it and maybe like try to be more active, more like maybe in your lunch break, or maybe again, just like try to do something that you like, even though you're like, oh, you're waking up, you're getting home like really late at night. Maybe I'll try to move a little bit. I don't know, like again, maybe work out from home and try to find something that you actually like, and maybe throughout, in the weekends, again, try to find some sort of like activity that you actually like, and the advice that she mentioned of like maybe park your car like a little bit less, far away from what you would or normally park, or take the stairs. Those are like little things that can definitely like make a difference. And I do like definitely I like those advice because there's like little things you can do to actually like lead. Again, you can't really outpace that sedentary lifestyle, but if it's your job and you can't really like, I can't switch jobs, like it's just, whatever, it's like, well, yeah, but maybe you can do like a little smaller changes that will help you in the long run. And I think again, it's more, and I think maybe again, it's like a lot of people are just, weight loss and stuff, but I think the focus should be on like actually getting like nutrients into your body and maybe like eating food that makes you feel good and makes you feel properly like fueled to get through your daily life, that doesn't make you feel tired and is making you feel energized to get through the day, probably. I think that would be like a good way to put it. And also, again, it's not just about like how you look and how much you should weigh or how, clothes should fit. Although I know that a lot of people, obviously that's the incentive, but I think it should be more about just like, I don't know, being healthy and feeling good about yourself and feeling, I don't know, walking, climbing up a bunch of stairs without feeling like winded up. I think those are the things that maybe you should focus on. Or maybe if you like weightlifting, or maybe you're getting stronger, it's like, I want to be able to like lift heavy or stuff like that. But again, it should be focused. It should be more focused, not unless on how you look and how you are actually like feeling. And if your body is allowing you to I don't know, live the life that you want. I think that should be like probably, and allow you to do the activities that you actually enjoy. And that's why I think it's more important, like what she said of like, stop being like, oh, I'm not good at this, I'm gonna give up. It's like, no, you should do it because it's fun and you actually like doing this. And that's why I mentioned like the best workout is, you know, the one that you like, because that's the one you're gonna keep going back to, and that's the one you're actually gonna stuck with it. So it's like, it doesn't really matter if it's just walking, running, whatever, or some sort of like basket. It doesn't really matter. You can play a sport. You're not gonna be like, oh, I'm not a professional. It's like, who cares? If you're enjoying it, like, it doesn't really matter. But yes, I really like this video, and that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!